Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me again. My name is Carlos. Today we're going to be going over a very brutal delt and arm session. But before we do, please hit that subscribe button, like, share, and post notifications, and leave a comment. It helps with the algorithm. So we've been changing up the routines these last few days, getting into some intensifiers. So last couple of weeks, we've been adding greater speed within the sets, like just trying to drop the rest between the sets. Usually, take a few minutes rest between sets as we try to build up our strength to hit our maximum limits, our maximum weights. And this is all well and fine if you're trying to build strength and a certain period of training. That's the way to go. But at this stage, what we're trying to do is to maximize the muscle hypertrophy as we are dropping weight and dropping body fat. And with low calories, low carbs, and all that, it's quite a trick. So, what have I been doing to enable this? I've been doing high intensity cardio, very short sessions. They're not, they're extremely short. What I do is I incorporate sprints on the bicycle. Now, these are very intense sprints. 30 seconds to the maximum effort that you can sustain, and it's pretty damn grueling, let me tell you. In fact, it's almost like a form of torture. It's a self-inflicted torture. It really is. After 15, 16, 17 seconds, you really want to stop. I mean, it's like the breathing becomes agonal. It's like you can't, take any. There's like you can't breathe. It's like you're underwater. You're dying. The legs are about to burst. You feel the burn. They're about to cramp up, and you still have 10 or 12 seconds left to go. That is tough. I mean, that's just like it's the hardest shit I've done, in a long time. And three of those. So like after the first one, you rest for like 2 or 3 minutes, and then do it again. Second set, you're thinking, God, I hope this thing ends pretty soon. And then on the third sprint, I was ready to just, kill myself. It was like, oh my God, this is really tough. So why do I do it? Well, it's increasing my physical capacity. It has increased my capacity to work faster with the weights. Like the same weight parameter, the same weights I always use, the same reps, the same amount of sets. I do them much faster. Now, what is that? And I've also been including intensifiers such as drop sets and supersets. So, what does that accomplish? Well, by doing a greater amount of work in a shorter period of time, you're basically overloading the muscle. It's another way of doing progressive overload. Not just the progressive overload generally is you increase the weights, but you can also overload in many other ways. And this is a very effective technique of how to overload the muscle. Just cram in more work in a shorter period of time. Now that requires fitness, like physical conditioning, not just like the bodybuilding condition where you're in, very lean, very peeled, with the skin is very thin. I'm talking about work capacity, and that work capacity comes down to cardio, really. Like even like in strongman, in any sport, really, that you want to perform and succeed, be it combat sport, be it whatever. It's your cardio conditioning. It doesn't matter how strong you are. If you can't sustain the work over a period of time, you're dead. You're gassed. That's it. Your opponent, your rival, is going to kill you. It's going to kick your ass, and you're not going to be able to perform. If it's an individual sport like bodybuilding. So physical conditioning comes from high intensity cardio. Now I know that in bodybuilding, especially as we're trying to get lean, the mantra is low intensity steady state to create an extra energy balance deficit. Like you want to lose calories, so you do this low intensity. You don't want to burn glycogen. It's very important. You want to preserve as much muscle as you can. So you create an energy deficit by doing this low, intensity cardio over, extended period of time, like 45 minutes to an hour. And that's great. That works. I've been doing that. But to be able to perform hard, fast, heavy sets, you need cardio conditioning. So you do high intensity cardio, really high intensity, but it's very, very limited in time. And you don't do so much that you're going to burn out your muscles, you're going to lower your glycogen, and it's also very strategic. It's also, you don't do it all the time. You don't do it when you're depleted. I try to find the right time to do these. So I have been doing them almost on every single workout though, and they have been working. So that's all I can say about that. It works. Like, by doing these sprints, I don't get gassed when I'm doing these supersets and these drop sets. So that's my thoughts and my experience with the cardio. You need it. The better you are with it, the more physical conditioning you have, the better you're going to be performing with the weights. And at the end of the day, you really want to kill it with the weights. That with the nutrition and everything on point. And just a few thoughts on that. It's been 12 weeks now, going on to 13, and I've never been so disciplined and focused on anything in my life. I mean, it's like the more I get into this, the more I am performing. And so the better I perform, the better I want to continue to perform, i.e., I focus more on the diet. Like everything is just robotic now. It's like, my meals are cooked and prepared. That's the other thing. Man, if you don't do meal prep, you're fucked. I mean, really, there's no way in hell that you're going to get to your goal if you don't do meal prep. If you're caught out there in the street or at work or anywhere and you get a hunger attack, because you're low carb and you're low calorie, you will eat anything. I mean, there's no willpower. There's nobody that has that kind of willpower when they're overcome with that ghrelin hormone, they're low carb, and they don't have their food with them. If you drive by a McDonald's and it's the only thing, man, you're going to eat, So you have to prepare. You have to prepare your food, and it has to be all laid out for the day, for the exact hours that you should eat it and everything. Then there's no way that you can't achieve your result. If you're weighing out your food, you know your macros, you know your calorie expenditure, you know all this data, and you apply it, I don't see how you can fail. It's like mathematically impossible to fail if you adhere. So the biggest secret to this, I mean, there's so many people who know about diets. Like fat people know about diets, right? And there's so many skinny, internet bodybuilders out there. They know all the techniques and everything, but it's the people who do it. Like, you have to adhere to the program, and that means over months and months and months, you stick to the program, to the letter. That's how you achieve results. It's not by knowing all this stuff. You can read, you can listen to all the podcasts, you can know everything from every single trainer, but if you don't have the willpower to do this day in and day out, it's meaningless. It's just absolutely meaningless. It's not worth shit. You have to be able to apply yourself and adhere to a program. If you can do that, you'll win. If you can do that, there's no way that you cannot achieve the result. You will achieve your results. So adherence is the biggest secret. It's probably the biggest obstacle for most people. They reach week 5, week 6, week 8, and some excuse will come up. Now, I don't think that a day of eating or going out to a restaurant is going to blow a diet. Not if you're continuously on a deficit, you're training. I mean, that's not losing your adherence. Adherence is going off the rails and not coming back on. Like, okay, so you take a day off and you ate everything. Like, you should never binge. Like, oh my God, I had 3 chocolate cakes, or I had 4 boxes of donuts I just couldn't stop eating, or I had 2 bags of Lay's potato chips and a gallon of dip. Shit like that will never fly. That's sinful, man. That's just evil. That's never approved of. But if you have a day, or just get up one day, you can eat more. You eat like 3 times the amount of food that you normally do for one day. You go out and eat, with your family. You have whatever, lasagna, a pizza, a cheeseburger, whatever, in normal amounts. You don't have 5 of them. Just have 1, or 2 maybe. I don't know. But you don't go out and, I got to eat. I'm recarbing, so I have 20,000 calories. And no, I'm talking about, you got to keep it like within normal. So you go off one day, maybe 2. But you come back because you're on the program, and you're back on the program for weeks and weeks and weeks. And then one day you go and eat, and then you're back. That's fine. That's like normal. In fact, competitive bodybuilders, they have cheat days, cheat meals. They're more programmed. You have to program these things. And many of us, just catch us, off guard. And, it just happened to be a day where, somebody invited us or we go out and we take our wife out or the kids or whatever and we go out and eat and we're off the diet for a day. That doesn't mean that you're not adhering. To not adhere is to go off the diet and stay off the diet because, oh man, I blew it now, what's the point? And then like 3 days later, you feel like shit. Now, you're trying to come back on and, it's like 2 weeks later, you're still out there and like, you blew it. That's it. You're gone. It's over. So adherence is not being like, well, you don't have to be like 100%. But you do have to be like 98%, okay? You guys get it. You understand. So, just to resume, recap everything that I've been saying, training very hard, cramming a lot of work within a very short period of time by doing drop sets. So, like on the shoulders, I reach my top. I'll pyramid up, like taking some time, like my normal, I'll do straight sets, to get from point A to point B. Right? So I'll go from, 100 pounds to 120, 140, 160, and, my top set 180. Now, when I get to 180, I'll do 3 or 4 reps. The drop sets, I would like to drop them 8, 8, 8, 8. Today, I couldn't do more than 4, 4, 4, 3, okay? So I'm just starting out with this, right, with the drop sets. So I got to my top set, stripped off 10 pounds or 20 pounds, and 4 reps, another 10, another small plate, another 4 reps, another small plate, another 4 reps, another small plate, another 4 reps. I think it was like 5 drops with the bar. And by the end of that, I couldn't move my arms. Man, it was like, it was a wicked pump. Then after that, the dumbbell side laterals. With 35 pounders for 12 reps, dropped them down to 28 pounders. There's 12 kilos and a half, they're like 30 pounds. 35, 30s, and 15s. And at the end of the 15s, felt more fatiguing than the first few reps on the 35s. It's like I couldn't move my shoulder anymore. And that's what you want. Like that's how congested you want to get. Now, you don't want to rest too long between those drop sets either. So I'd rest for like 45 seconds and then back at it. It's like you're just being pushed by a taskmaster, by, like a galley slave. Get back at it. Okay, go for it again. Don't rest for more than a minute. 45 seconds, back at it again, another drop set. From there, you move on to another exercise. So it was like biceps curls. Did a few straight sets there. Like as an interlude, like as a, you do this intensity and then you do this, like, okay, a little bit here, but it's still hard. I upped the weight and I was doing some, straight sets are pretty hard too. And then some drop sets with the dumbbells again for the biceps. Man, I mean, it was killer. It was great. I'm loving it, though. It's like another way of training, and I'll probably get sick of this after a while. You get to a point where it's like enough, after, I don't know, maybe a month of this, because I really want to get back into powerlifting. I want to get back into the really heavy weights. So I'm taking advantage of this time period to really get into these intensifiers. You don't have to train just one way all the time. You can mix it up a little. It's not like, got to confuse the muscle. No, you got to stay on a certain training system for a few weeks at least. Now, a caveat to that. I've been training steadily for 3 years, like no breaks at all. So I've done my power phase. I've done my bodybuilding phase. I've done, 8-week blocks of this, 12-week blocks of that. And at this point, it's like everything goes, because it's like my body is tuned in. So I can mix in a few power moves within the hypertrophy within the same session, right? Because it's like, I'm at that level now. If I had to start over, I'd have to periodize more rigidly, but at this stage, and right now it's mostly, I just want to lose the body fat as I get into my last few weeks, and also, try to maintain as much size and everything. So that's the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. Like I've done it all these different type of systems, the Wendell 531, I've done the Weider systems, pyramid, all this, it's, over the period of years, everything has been done. So I can't really understand when people say, I just train this one way. They're missing out on a lot. And besides, it's boring as fuck, man. Just doing one way of training, come on. There's so many ways to have fun in the gym. Now, that's the other thing. I really take this seriously. I don't go in there and chit-chat. I find that like the most obnoxious thing to go in and distract people by, making small talk while they're training. Come on. Especially this type of training when you're just hitting it as fast as possible. So anyways, that's it for today. I'll leave you with a training video at the end. Just a sample. I don't put every single exercise on there. I don't put every single set. I do put every single exercise on there. And that's it. So I hope you guys get some value out of this. And, I hope, my tips, help out. Leave a comment. You can ask anything you want on the internet. You can ask me on the YouTube. And that's all for today. God bless everybody. We'll see you on the next channel.